Here, it's always Halloween, and I'm always your haunted host, Luce Tomlin Brenner. Welcome to Small Frights Friday. Each week, I like to share a curated selection of calls from the All Hallows Hotline and letters from the EEEEK mailbag. First, let's welcome the newest members of our Patreon Ghoul Gang, Emily Simmons and Robin McCall. Extra special thanks to Robin for subscribing via our new annual membership option, which means to me that you really believe in us. Subscribing annually gives you 2 months of bonus goodies for free, and it means you're going to have a front row seat as the podcast grows over the next year, and you get to help shape it. Seriously, big thanks to everyone who's subscribed so far. We are 77% funded and only $114 away from our first goal of $500 a month, which is how much it costs to produce the podcast. Can you help us get there by October 1st? Just go to patreon.com/it'salwayshalloween or click the link in our show notes. There's levels to suit every income and interest. At the $1 candy corn level, you get this podcast shout out. Everyone gets that, but especially the $1 people. At the $3 caramel apple pops level, you get Discord access to the Ghoul Gang chat community. At the $6 homemade popcorn ball level, you get blog access. At the $10 chocolate eyeball level, you get our bi-monthly movie live stream and discussions. The $13 Reese's Pumpkin level gets you Ghost Story bonus episodes and an exclusive sticker of podcast art by Rose Fedek. And then finally, at the $16 level, you get access to both the movies and the stories, and you get an exclusive mug. A mug to drink pumpkin spice lattes out of, or hot apple cider, or perhaps my favorite, just a dry scoop of Count Chocula cereal. I just posted a brand new creepy story this week, and it's from the incredible book Tiny Nightmares, Very Short Tales of Horror. The story is called Carbon Footprint, and it's by Shelley Oriya, or perhaps it's Oria, or another pronunciation that I'm not sure of. I do not know this woman. I'm sorry to this woman. I started to feel self-conscious after I recorded and posted it and was like thinking of all of the multitude of ways you could possibly pronounce her last name. Anyways, it's a really great story. It chilled me to the bone and I can't stop thinking about it. I really hope that you enjoy it. Thanks to friend of the pod, Jen Curcio, for gifting me the book. And the whole thing is filled with great stories. But like I said, Carbon Footprint, especially chilling. So I wanted to share it with you. And I'm very, very excited to announce my movie live stream and discussion plan for the calendar Halloween season. All right, here we go. As an expert and possibly the biggest fan of the Halloween franchise, I am thrilled to share that I will be screening every single film in the series over the next 2 months. Not including Rob Zombie's Halloween films, as I don't find them fun or enjoyable to watch, although I do respect his vision and his artistic merit, and I know they're for some people, they're just not for me. They're excessively violent and bleak and a little cynical in a way that is just doesn't work for me on any level. Whereas I find the original franchise to be a lot more joyful and campy and over the top in only the way that like 80s, 90s slasher franchises can be. So mark your calendars for Saturday, September 25th, Sunday, September 26th, Sunday, October 10th, and Thursday, October 14th. September 25th, starting at 2 p.m., I'll be screening the original Halloween, followed by Halloween 2 and Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Not related to the rest of the franchise. I racked my brain trying to figure out the best placement for it. And in the end, my obsession with alphabetizing and organizing things chronologically won out. I could not separate the 3 from the pack. So we're doing 1, 2, and 3 on October 25th. Then the next day, October 26th, we're picking up with, again, 2 p.m. Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, followed by Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, and Halloween 6, Curse of Michael Myers. It's very important that we do these back to back because there is a couple of different timelines in the Halloween universe. A couple different ways you can watch the franchise. It goes 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. That's one complete storyline. The other complete storyline is 1, 2, Halloween H2O, and Halloween Resurrection. Totally complete. And then the final storyline is the first Halloween and then Halloween 2018. And then, of course, the newest one, Halloween Kills. So I want to be able to follow 1 and 2 quickly with 4, 5, and 6 because those are the ones that get like really wild. It spins out a lot of family history and kind of gets more and more bonkers with each entry. So I'm looking forward to all of the days, but I think the 26th will be especially fun because in my experience, 4, 5, and 6 are the ones that people have seen the least, if not at all. And I think that they're really iconic in their own rights. Also, if you have seen 2018, there are little references to those films in 2018. And I wouldn't be surprised if there were little references in the new one as well. So we're going to do a little education on those, the least seen Halloween movies. Then October 10th, Sunday, October 10th, will be a double feature of Halloween H2O and Halloween Resurrection. Now, Halloween Resurrection is the worst entry in the entire franchise. In my opinion, that being said, it has a very fascinating little snippet of what the internet was like in the Y2K times. Internet moves fast, things are developing constantly, and it just got this like little sliver of how reality TV would be in an internet age. It was like very futuristic for that time period. And now, of course, extremely dated, which is what happens every time there's a movie about technology. But I think there's a lot of interesting time capsule qualities to it. A little bit of nostalgia. It's mostly pretty goofy, but again, it does round out the timeline to go 1, 2, H2O, and Resurrection. So we're doing that one, starring Tyra Banks and Busta Rhymes. Can't miss it. And then on October 14th at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I will screen Halloween 2018 to prepare for the following day's release. On October 15th is when the new Halloween Kills comes out. So we are going all out the next couple of months. I typically screen 2 movies a month, and now we're doing 9. Okay, 9 movies in the next 2 months. Huge value. I truly adore this franchise, and I think every single film has something fun, fantastic, and horrifying going for it. Not to mention, each film takes place on our favorite day. Come on, that's huge. There's no other franchise that can do that. Freddy can't do that. Yeah, he shows up in your dreams, but like whenever he feels like it. He can't commit to like one day, one family, one singular goal. It's one of the things I love about Michael Myers. He's very focused, very organized for a psychopath. It's really, truly something to admire. So I know a lot of you love the first one. And I think by the end of the screening and discussion series, I can turn some of you into fellow franchise fanatics. So I hope you'll sign up for either of the movie tiers and join us this season. For those of you who aren't major horror fans, I know that there are a good number of lanterns who prefer the cozier side of things. I just want to assure you that while there is a bit of stabby slasher violence in each, they're all really fun and campy more than they are disturbing, except for the 2018 one. I would say it's kind of excessively violent and intense, but also it's pretty fun. And I like to think that I'm pretty sensitive to violence. These aren't super jump scary. It's, again, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. Not trying to pressure anybody. I don't want to peer pressure you. That's wrong. But I do want to assure you that they're not actually that scary if you're worried about that kind of thing. So moving on, that's what we have coming up. We're going to watch all the Halloween movies together. We're going to talk about them. I'm going to go really in depth. If you want to do a little bit of pre-lecture series with me, I have 3 podcast episodes floating around the ether where I get into my obsession with the Halloween franchise. I'll drop those in the show notes. One is for Nerdificent, and one was my own film podcast, You Need to See This. And the other one I think was called Why Do You Know About That? And it was a podcast about people who have really specific in-depth interests. So I just spent an hour lecturing to other comedians about the importance of the Halloween franchise. So I'll put those in the show notes if you're interested in diving in there. All right, you guys, listen up. This is a very exciting day. As I'm recording It's Always Halloween on our 1-year anniversary. An entire year just went by. What? My goodness. This podcast was a dream of mine for years. Like, it's just been a year, but I've been thinking about this show for years. Like, it's just been rattling around my cobwebby head for a really long time. And I would occasionally pitch this idea to close friends, and they'd all be like, yes, you have to make this. No one loves Halloween as much as you. You got to do this. But it wasn't until the pandemic hit that I felt like I actually had the time, because before that I was producing live comedy shows and performing on stage most nights. And I knew I wanted to do a really in-depth show, and I don't want to make something until I know I can make it at like the quality level that I want to make it. I don't want to like do anything halfway or commit to something if I know I don't have the time. So I couldn't figure out how to do it until the pandemic was like kind of fully in swing. It was last summer, really, after the gay witch shop where I used to produce live shows closed due to the pandemic. Rest in peace, A Love Bazaar. Check out their online shop, Neon Altar, if the phrase gay witch shop appeals to you at all. So I channeled all my sadness into the one thing that always cheered me up no matter what, Halloween. I got a lot of help and encouragement from my co-producer, editor, and sound designer, Pete Burns, and a ton of creative advice and input from my partner, Isaac McDaniel, and my close friends, Isabel O'Hare and Stephen Ray Morris. Truly could not have launched this without you guys. So I first launched it on September 8th, 2020, with our very first episode, Where Did Halloween Come From? Part 1, which now has over 3,000 plays. And it's just very wild for me, as I started this podcast as a way to combat my own depression and sadness due to the pandemic, and due to the overall general oppression in our society, the structures that are baked in. Definitely a lot of pressure to put on a Halloween and entertainment podcast, right? The only thing I love more than Halloween is putting a lot of pressure on things. But I wanted to learn. I've heard from so many of you that you've had trouble. You're always looking for something. You want to learn more about Halloween. There aren't a lot of ways to do that. And that was exactly what happened. For every year it'd be October, and I'm like, I really want to dive into I really want to learn something. I wanted a This American Life kind of style, like something really in depth, and it just wasn't out there. Every now and then the Stuff You Should Know would have like one episode each year. Like some podcasts would do one like kind of surface level in-depth research for like one episode. And then so many of the other podcasts were about horror movies, which I love, but I didn't need any more info on, really. And so I was like, I got to make this podcast that I need to hear. But in the beginning, it was really just for me. I wanted to learn about my favorite holiday, and I wanted to immerse myself in history, which I find really comforting. I find learning history, reading history really comforting, because it reminds me that nothing is new and everything is connected. Discovering, racism and classism and ethnic cleansing almost destroyed Halloween several times over the last 1,000 years really put things into perspective for me. Learning that putting a skeleton on my door every year is directly tied to the Black Plague and the art of the Renaissance made me feel so connected to the world and to others in a way that I hadn't felt, especially during the needlessly polarizing pandemic. listen to our chapter on skeletons for more on that whole in-depth topic. 5 episodes on the history of skeletons. So another thing, looking back at the episodes and seeing what I learned and what was like new for me, learning about trick or treat essentially coming from European orphans and the poor singing for food or money on Halloween night. I mean, that brought into the cat is fully on my lap right now. But like learning about that, it really helped me see something clearly that I always felt but couldn't really put into words before. And that's that Halloween is a life-giving holiday of generosity and connection. It's the one holiday where we decorate for our community and we invite strangers to our home and we give some joy away. And we essentially recognize our mortality together. I honestly never feel more alive than when I'm watching a scary movie or walking out of a haunted house. These activities make me feel so strong and vibrant and so connected to the people I'm with, whether they're friends or strangers. Halloween just makes me love life. And it's because Halloween makes me acknowledge death and the short time we all have together on this plane of existence. When we celebrate Halloween together, we're saying, yes, death is real and it is scary, but we're not alone. We're confronting it. And that helps us appreciate life together. As I said, I started It's Always Halloween for me. I wanted the focus to be on a new history topic every week, and then the Small Frights episodes were supposed to just be silly and supplemental. I really wasn't sure if they were even going to work. I was prepared to absolutely just axe this segment at any point. I was like, the second this doesn't work, like people don't call into this hotline, it's done. We're going to act like it never happened. Go our separate ways. But now they're the heart of the show. After 1 year, thanks to the Small Frights episodes, a community of over 1,000 people has cropped up. Your calls and EEEEKmails bring such daily joy to not only me, but to the Luceo lanterns all over the world. The world! We have listeners from all over the world, and I cannot stop feeling such unending joy over it. It makes me so happy because I've never been able to travel very much. I've been to Canada and Australia and New Zealand and many states in the US, but not anywhere else. And just seeing that my voice is in Indonesia and Uganda and Chile and United Arab Emirates, like, oh my gosh, hello. Yes, it says only a few people in each of those spaces, but my gosh, it makes me feel like I'm globetrotter. And the idea that we can connect, all of us calling in, talking, discussing Halloween, that we are connecting with people all over in every country, like, my God, that's so cool. That's so special. This podcast has really pivoted to being, something that was supposed to just be like a little hobby for me and like to scratch an itch and to help me through a time. It's really become about you. This show has pivoted to you and this incredible, passionate community. It's something that belongs to all of us. And I want to move into year 2 with that energy. So what do you want to learn about this year? Please call or write in. I absolutely love hearing your questions and ideas. Keep filling up the inbox. Keep filling up the hotline. I never get sick of hearing from you guys. And while we're fantasizing about the future, I do want to, I know so many of you are witchy inclined, so I'm hoping together we can manifest some things for the podcast. So for year 2, I really want to manifest that I can quit one of my jobs and work full-time on It's Always Halloween, because I have so many dreams and ideas for this podcast. I want to consistently be able to produce 2 episodes a week. I want to interview special guest experts, I don't want to have, another person and we're just 2 comedians shooting the breeze. I love those podcasts. I don't think I need to contribute to any more. I want to have experts. I want to have smart people who spend their life learning about the things that we care about. Have somebody on here that's smarter than me that I can engage with and pull out the details of the history that we're fascinated by. I want to have people like Lisa Morton or cemetery preservationists, who can talk to us about headstones and iconography and what they mean and how they protect them. I would love to talk to people who have, traveled the world, who are from different countries. And I want to hear about, the different celebrations that are akin to Halloween, but different from the people from those places. So you're not just listening to a white American do her best, but have it be from like a very Western perspective. Sometimes I want to get more perspectives and really like flush things out. I want to travel. Obviously, I was just saying I haven't traveled very much. I would love to travel to historic Halloween related places and do on-site research in places like Salem, New Orleans, Sleepy Hollow, just visit famous haunted places throughout the country and do like a live broadcast from there. I want to meet you in person. And I want to see your passion in real life. I want to do live shows in your cities. I want to go to conventions. I want to perform at festivals. I want to make cool merch. I love Redbubble, and I'm so grateful that you guys have been supporting Redbubble, but I would love to have something like made in-house to collaborate with screen printers. I want to pay my bills with my own creative vision. I want everyone to pay their bills with their own creative vision. Let's all manifest that people can just pay their bills. That's actually like a kind of a huge ask right now, which really sucks. And so let's think about this going into this next year. We should all take some time during calendar Halloween to meditate on what we want for the next year. The veil is thinning and the spirits are with us. It's a very magical and meaningful time. Remember Halloween, Samhain, started off as a type of New Year celebration. This is when the Celts would celebrate the bounty that came from their hard work all year, and they'd look ahead and plan for the next year. I think this would be a great tradition to bring back. If we're going to celebrate Halloween all year round, why not throw in New Year's whenever we feel like it too? I'd drop a big glittery ball every Sunday night if I could. All right, let's try this over again. Start anew on Monday. Look, I'm a sentimental person. I think you know this about me by now, so I could go on and on and on about what this podcast means to me, but why not take a little break from that and throw it out to you, you magnificent lanterns that make this podcast so great. You were the peanut butter in my Reese's pumpkins. All right, first up, let's take an All Hallows Hotline call from Marco in Texas. My dear Texas lanterns, I'm sending all my love to you, all my love and my extra coins. It's been a rough couple of weeks in Texas. All right, Marco, take it away.
Hi, Luce. It's Marco calling back again on the anniversary of the podcast. I was listening earlier today, and just the theme music at the beginning, just like, it's every time I listen to it, it just transports me right back to when I first discovered the podcast. And I love that it's just like, to me, it's already like a Halloween memory. And I think about just like cooler days, although in Texas that's literally few and far between. But I think about cooler days, I think about the weather changing, I think about Halloween being around the corner. I found the podcast probably about like episode 3, and I think it's just so cool to see how it's changed. And how it's grown and how the fan base has grown and the callers. I just love listening. Oh God, I want to call in so many times. I feel like I'm always listening and I'm like, yep, yeah, nope, totally agree with that. Yep, oh yeah, oh, I feel that. Oh yeah, memory unlocked. Every single time, I just love it. I love everything about it. I love hearing your voice. I love making friends with the callers. I love catching up on social media and seeing all the pictures on Instagram. It just really has turned into something so special. I just finished the episode about the apple cider donuts. Yes, I freaking love apple cider donuts. Oh my goodness. Also, can we talk about how, like, early September, I feel like my bank account is, like, really taking the biggest hit from Halloween, because I see, like, all of the cute stuff out everywhere, and I'm like, everybody knows, like, if you don't buy it right then and there, like, it's gonna be gone. Like, you gotta snag it. And a lot of times I'm like, I can't, there's no, like, let me think about it, let me come back. I'm like, I gotta do it now. So I've just been buying so many cool Halloween things online, supporting small businesses. The subject of witchcraft has come up. I love that. I have definitely grown into my spirituality with witchcraft over the past couple of years. Tarot cards have been so therapeutic for me, so helpful, especially with my anxiety. It's just like, oh, it's been such a blessing to have that tool, and just the different practices in witchcraft have really, I love it. And I love that it ties in with the spookiness of Halloween, and it's just, like I said, I can't wait for the Witches episodes to come out soon. Anyways, love you guys so much. I'll never get tired of you talking about politics, by the way. I agree with everything you say. I will hopefully call in soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Oh, Marco, what an incredibly sweet, thoughtful phone call. Thank you so much. I love that the theme music, that Pete's incredible original song that he wrote, is already its own Halloween classic in your eyes. I think it's so interesting the way we become nostalgic for things that like didn't happen that long ago. I was feeling kind of nostalgic. Somebody was talking about how much everyone got into Tiger King in the beginning of the pandemic, and I had this weird wash of nostalgia for the beginning of the pandemic, which was a horrible time still, but like weirdly exciting, because it was like, wait, are we going to get work off for a couple of weeks? Now it's like a dystopian nightmare, but like at the time it's like, oh, how nice to just like not have to do anything for a little bit. And I have nostalgia for that when like people were like, oh, we could actually take a break before things wound up again. And it's like, listen, things are bad, people are dying, but what if we just kept working through it and acting like it wasn't happening? So it's interesting to have nostalgia for times that happened a little more recently. And I'm very flattered and delighted to have the song have a little bit of Halloween nostalgia for you, Marco. And I hope it kind of gives a warm, cozy feeling to other lanterns as well. Yes, I was just talking to a friend tonight about how the bank account gets low at this time of year, because I went to Disneyland this past weekend. A friend of mine works for Disney and gets free tickets. It's normally not something I have the extra money for, but we got to go for free, which is very exciting. And I still managed spending more money than I had just paying for food during the day. But I was like, I also got myself a little jack-o'-lantern mug and a little jack-o'-lantern tote bag, and I was like, oh, these are write-offs. These are business expenses that I need. So now I'm going to try. I hope the IRS isn't listening to this, right? Okay, real quick, if there's any IRS agents listening to the podcast right now, just like turn it off for like 5 minutes. I swear you're not going to miss anything interesting at all. Super not important. But are they gone? Is everyone gone who does stuff with taxes? Okay, listen, I'm going to write off every single Halloween decoration I buy this year. It's business, baby. All right, IRS agents can come back. But yes, my bank account is not doing so hot right now, because I am like trying to push any little bit of extra money I have over into the buying haunt tickets, because I'm trying to go to the LA Haunted Hayride and Universal Horror Nights, and especially not getting to do those activities last year, I feel such an intense, like, I must do it this year. And I love that you're supporting small businesses. I know exactly what you mean about how you see something new and it's like, especially, I love pins, enamel pins, and t-shirts are kind of my weakness. So somebody's like, limited pre-sale, who wants a special t-shirt? I'm like, I would love a special t-shirt. I have like 9 drawers dedicated to special t-shirts over the last few years. Who am I kidding? My entire life. Since I moved out of my parents' house, my mom was anti-t-shirt growing up. She did not feel that they were dressy enough. I came from a very formal household. So I've rebelled in my adult life by wearing t-shirts every single day, almost. And I wanted to talk to you about how you said that tarot has helped your anxiety, and tarot has also helped my anxiety. I like the free form nature of it. I'm constantly trying to explore various spiritual practices that have no formality and a lot of like, let's see, we'll do a little of this and then a little bit of that. And that has a little more room and a little more, I don't know, I keep picturing seaweed in my mind. I just want a spirituality that's like a little more like seaweed, just going with the flow of things. I got the Wizard of Barge tarot set this summer. And if you guys love creepy images, not like scary, but just like fun, spooky, creative, colorful images, definitely check out Wizard of Barge's work. And his tarot set is my favorite tarot I've ever had before, Wizard's Tarot. It is so creative. It's got such fun, like, monsters on every single one. And I find it to be really stimulating, again, just creatively, if I'm feeling like a block or like I'm not connected to the work I'm trying to do. Even just pulling like one card or just looking through the deck at the cards is very inspiring and exciting to me. Highly recommend. I'll link to it in the show notes. But I always liked tarot before, but it wasn't until I got that deck this summer that now I feel myself like regularly looking to cards for guidance and using them during like the new moon and the full moon to kind of get like just an idea of like where I'm at, what am I doing, where am I going? So yeah, I really related to that a lot, Marco. This was such a lovely call. You crammed so much into 3 minutes. I'm so impressed. Thank you for being with us from the beginning and always calling in with such fun, fascinating stories. And I look forward to many more in the future. All right, let's get into some EEEEKmails. I asked the Ghoul Gang if they had any memories from the last year that they wanted to share or anything for this special anniversary podcast. And I got some cool messages from them. So I'm going to share those with you. The first one is from Ashley. For much of my life, it's been Halloween every day in my heart. But I've spent the better part of this time feeling at worst completely misunderstood about that. And at best, just happily marching to the beat of my own spooky drum. But then, Luce, I discovered your podcast and became a part of this community you've crafted for us here. And now it truly is always Halloween, but with bonus amazing spooky pals and a fun, informative, and inclusive podcast to keep me feeling festive and seen. Thank you for a whole year of this when the rest of the year was an utter nightmare. The bad kind. No matter what hour the clock strikes elsewhere, here I know it can always be Halloween, and I thank you for that. Oh, my pleasure, Ashley. I love that you said the bad kind of nightmare. Because I'm always talking about how nightmares are a free and easy way to get a little Halloween experience in your daily life. I know what you mean. I really have gone, it took me a really long time to even find people in Los Angeles that were Halloween lovers. And people would always be like, oh, so you love horror movies? And I'm like, yes, many of them. I don't watch every horror movie. There's a lot of stuff that I can't stomach and that I'm not interested in. And we've had this discussion on this podcast before that it's difficult when horror and Halloween become synonymous because then it totally skips over the cozier aspects of Halloween, which I think is what makes the holiday different and special. And I think there's also a lot of horror movie people who don't necessarily like Halloween for the same reasons that some of us like Halloween. So the conflating them has always been problematic for me. And I was delighted to find that there were so many people who were interested in the history, because I was worried that that wouldn't necessarily appeal to people. And it's exciting to see how many people are out there that aren't just horror lovers, who, of course, I love because I'm a horror lover also, but people who wanted to get more out of the holiday. It's been really nice. So I'm really happy that you found us, Ashley, and you are a delight. Ashley wrote in a few months ago and shared her amazing Halloween sleeve. She has a couple of big Halloween tattoos, and I put those pictures up on our Instagram and tagged her tattoo artists as well. I didn't know about, I have a couple of Halloween-ish tattoos, but I had no idea people were doing like whole sleeves. And I've heard a lot about that since I've been doing the podcast. And I just love the idea of like an entire sleeve of like different Halloween vignettes. It's like a little haunted house on your arm. I love that. All right, next message is from Andrew. I'm currently watching The Nun and trying to figure out how to say what I want to say. This podcast has really helped me this past year. Not long after I found it, I started doing deep breathing exercises and turning on my lava lamp. I know that might sound ridiculous, but I promise you it's true. Starting over is never easy or fun, but having something fun and exciting to listen to has really helped me through some difficult and painful nights. Congratulations on 1 year of pure Halloween awesomeness. I will end with one of my favorite lines of dialogue from a film I watch every Halloween, The Crow. And the quote is, "You know, my daddy used to say, every man's got a devil, and you can't rest till you find him." Thank you, Luce, for helping me bring back my love for my favorite time of year and favorite holiday, Halloween. Thank you, Andrew. And I have never watched The Crow. Was that the tone that character uses in that movie? I want to ask, should I watch The Crow? But of course, it's your favorite movie to watch this time of year, so I think you're definitely going to say yes. I know it's a cult classic. I've always been like kind of sad about what happened to the actor. And I was like, oh, am I going to like get really into this first movie and then contend all over again with this like 30-year-old death? It's sad. He deserved better. All right. Well, Andrew, this was a really lovely message, and I don't think it sounds ridiculous. I think that we all need a little push to start habits that will get us on the road to happiness and just better, healthier habits. And it's really hard because integrating a new habit takes like 20 or 30 days before you're like actually doing it. And it's really easy to stop doing something after like 2 days. You're like, this is weird. I don't like it. This doesn't make sense. I don't like this. I don't want to not look at my phone when I wake up. I like looking at my phone when I wake up. That's the unhealthy habit I want to break. Maybe I need a lava lamp. I'm really interested if the lava lamp like helps like slow your breaths, or it's like something you can concentrate on because it's got like a very calm, soothing, drippy pattern. I never thought about meditating with a lava lamp before, but you are like just thinking about it right now. I'm getting like very into this idea. One, I'm wondering what color your lava lamp is. Two, I'm thinking a lava lamp with like a black base and orange goo. What is it made out of? It's goo, right? Orange goo would be so Halloween-y and so perfect. Are there Halloween lava lamps out there? Because I feel like you could also do like orange goo with an orange base and top, or orange base, green top. Give it like it looks like a pumpkin. You following? You picking up what I'm laying down? Anyways, lava lamps make me think of Spencer's Gifts, which also make me think of Halloween because they always had posters for horror movies in the back, and you would flip through the poster display, And this was like, for me as a kid, I feel like just flipping through the poster display was like a horror movie, because there was this one poster that was really popular in the 90s that was just Linda Blair's face really close up when she was possessed, like the most intense part of her possession. And it was so close up and it was so scary that every time I saw it, it made me like yelp and my feet and hands would go cold, which is what happens when I'm really scared. And I'd be like, I can't be around another poster display for a month. I get so freaked out. I got to this point where I would not open the little metal frames all the way. I would do like a little tiny peek at the edge, and I'd be like, I knew what to look for. I was like, listen, I've been burned by this Linda Blair face like 3 times, like Sam Goody, Spencer's, Suncoast Video. I cannot have this happen again. I cannot keep yelling at the mall. My mom dropped me off here like an adult. I'm 13. I need to be able to look at this Linda Blair face without screaming. It took a long time. I don't know if I ever had. I think if I was at a poster display now and I saw it when I wasn't expecting it, I bet I'd scream again. So all that to say, lava lamps take me to that memory, make me think of Spencer's as like an essential Halloween stop. Does Spencer's still exist out in your malls? I would love to hear. All right, next message is from Teresa McCobb. Make sure you check out her Halloween prints and her Halloween greeting cards. We talked about her on the last show. I'm going to put her store link in the show notes again, because sending Halloween greeting cards is super fun. And I think we should all be doing that more. All right, here's Teresa's message. Happy 1 year to my absolute favorite Halloween podcast. So glad I found it on Spotify and got to know you and so many other wonderful people. Thanks for being so welcoming and informative, and for creating such a kind community for all of us lanterns. Here's to celebrating the continued growth of It's Always Halloween. Yes, let's celebrate. Thank you so much, Teresa. I wish we were all in a place right now where we could all have like a pumpkin ale together or some hot apple cider together. Does that sound so nice over a fire? A little bonfire, little party bonfire. Oh, gosh, I wish. And this last message is from Mindy. Mindy says, last November, after months of quarantining together at home, my wife and I made the decision to drive all the way from California to Texas so that we could quarantine with our families for at least 6 weeks. We knew it would be stressful, tiring, and more than a little bit scary, even as careful as we were going to try to be. Knowing this, we wanted to find something to listen to on the 2 days each way road trip that would keep us both entertained as well as comforted. I downloaded several different kinds of podcasts and audiobooks, and nothing really sounded good once we started driving, until I told my wife about the new Halloween podcast I had found. I had downloaded it for myself because while she also loves the season, I really, really love Halloween. When I searched specifically for Halloween podcasts and found this one, I was like, oh my God, it is always Halloween for me. My people, this is perfect. My wife said that it sounded good, so we started listening, and we continued to listen for hours on end, from one episode to the next. Needless to say, we adored the history lessons, Lucé's enthusiasm and honesty, and hearing from others with the same interests, as well as the emphasis on equality, respect, and the steadfast and passionate embracing of our world's beautiful diversity. And here's the thing, not only did It's Always Halloween make our drive more pleasant, so much so that I became a part of the Patreon Ghoul Gang somewhere in Arizona on the drive back to LA. But I got to meet a really amazing group of people with many of the same interests. From our Ghoul Gang movie nights to the group meetups, more please. My wife and I find ourselves thankful and excited to have found this community. I know how hard Lucy and Pete have worked to bring us all together with their podcast, and I just want to say thank you for the past year of spooky fun. Here's to another 365 and beyond. Oh, my goodness. Mindy, so lovely. A lot of people have said that they're grateful to have had this podcast during the pandemic. And I just have to say, Me too. And I am behind the scenes putting it all together, but you are the ones calling in. You're the ones signing up for Patreon and watching movies together. You're the ones sharing ideas. I'm writing the menu, but you are the actual ingredients making the food be delicious. So thank you so much for you, Mindy, and Teresa, and Andrew, and Marco, Ashley, everyone who wrote in today, everyone who writes and calls in. Always, it was one of the dumbest years I've ever lived through. And yet, this really incredible thing happened, making it also one of the best years of my life. It's so hard to wrap my brain around. But before we go, I've saved the very best for last. I am capping off this extremely special episode with an extremely special announcement. I am so excited that I almost want to scream this announcement. You know how much I love screaming. It's basically my favorite song to sing during calendar Halloween. Just a loud, sustained scream. Put it on my playlist. And speaking of playlists, I've got a new song for you. Or rather, I discovered the singer of the song you already like. Oh yes, that's correct. I have unraveled the mystery of the Halloween mystery song that we have been discussing on the last 3 Small Frights episode and on our Discord channel as well. The song from Zach's haunted workplace video and that one episode of How To with John Wilson, possibly the only song not currently available in any corner of the internet. Together, we all did what no Redditor had the guts or gusto to do. We tracked down Maura Matlack and we messaged her. Or more specifically, I messaged her, and what follows could quite possibly be the most satisfying text conversation of all time. So, before we go today, please tuck in and prepare yourself for a lovely conversation between myself and Maura Matlack. Hi, Maura. Apologies for creeping in and perhaps being one of hundreds asking this question, but are you the artist behind the song Halloween that's featured in How To with John Wilson? I've had multiple listeners write to me asking to solve this mystery because, other than the show, the song is somewhat unfindable. Your name is the only one connected to it. If so, please know thousands of people love it and are desperate to put it on their Halloween playlists. If not, thanks for reading and many spooky apologies. Take care, Luce. I wrote this on September 1st. On September 2nd, I get this back. Hey there, Luce. Thanks for reaching out with your message about Halloween. No spooky apologies needed. I am indeed the artist. Pumpkin emoji. Great to know listeners have enjoyed the song. Feel free to point them in my direction for it and more music. Thanks again, Maura. I follow up 3 hours after that. Hi, Maura. Yay! Thanks for the quick reply, and what a delightful discovery. Where can people download, buy, or stream Halloween? It doesn't seem to be available online. I know people are eager to support you and add this seasonal hit to their playlists. Orange Heart, Black Heart. And now we're in a back and forth. You're welcome. I'm so glad you got in touch. The song isn't available yet for online download. That's why we can't find it anymore. It's not available. Song isn't available for online download, but people can message me here on Instagram and I can send them the track as an MP3 and they can Venmo me directly. Oh, wow, that's fantastic. Well, count me in as a customer. What's your Venmo and how much? Another quick question. I want to do an update on the next episode about this so people can buy your song from you. Could I play a snippet of the song on this episode? I don't have advertising. This is all self-funded and Patreon funded, but I'd be happy to pay you extra for it. It's me so generous offering to pay an artist what they're worth. I just wanted her to know that we're not How To with John Wilson. It's Do Your Best with Luce and some bats. So I send her the episode. I say, here's the original episode in which a listener writes in to ask about your song if you're interested in hearing it. Okay, so this is all on a Thursday of last week. Then silence for 3 days. Oh my God. She hates the podcast. She's offended. It's too much. I asked to play her song on the episode and I've scared her away. But then on Sunday, 2:07 p.m., I get, hey, Luce, that episode is awesome. Thanks for sending. Okay, listen, you guys. Not only did we track down Maura Matlack, but we made her a fan. Maura Matlack is our newest lantern. The letter sent in was amazing. Do you hear that, Zach? That's Maura Matlack, the singer of Halloween, telling you that your letter is amazing. I love your podcast. You're so entertaining and fun to listen to. My Venmo is the same as my Instagram, at Maura Matlack. All right, everybody, I'm going to slow that down so you get this. You can follow her on Instagram, and you should Venmo her $5, and you can have the song for yourself, have it for your playlist. Her Venmo and her Instagram is at Maura, Maura, Matlack, Matlak. Perhaps it's Matlack. And if that's true, I'm sorry. I'm from Ohio, where we have hard A's. Okay, it's $5, and people just have to drop their email either in an Instagram message or in the Venmo notes, and I will email the song to them. I need to check with someone on if you can use this snippet or not on the podcast due to publishing rights. So let me find out and get back to you. If you have to record before I can get the answer to you, I'd err on the side of not being able to play the snippet. But I will get back to you as soon as possible. It would be great if you could. So let me just find out the rules. Hope this info is helpful. Keep up your amazing work on your podcast. It's so cool. Maura. Lovely. I have Venmo'd Maura the money. She has sent me the Halloween song. I have it. I'm putting it on my playlist. I cannot play it on this episode because we have not heard about the rights yet. And now that Maura and I are close friends, I don't want to push it at all. So you too can have the Halloween song on your playlist. All you have to do is Venmo Maura Matlack or Matlack and send her $5 and she'll send you the song. And she's a new fan. She wants to know when this podcast episode airs because she wants to listen. And she goes on to say, it would be great if you could point your listeners here to my page and they can DM me for the song as well. So again, Maura Matlack or Maura Matlack. I will link it in the show notes. Are you guys freaking out right now? I'm freaking out. We did what no one else on the internet could do, which really just seemed to reach out to someone and not be weird about it. I cannot wait to go onto Reddit and be like, I figured it out. So Zach, there you go. My Halloween gift to you. All treats, no tricks. To everyone else out there, do you have a Halloween mystery you need to be solved? Do you have to ask someone something? Like a Halloween-related quandary, but you feel weird popping into their DMs? Hey, pop into mine instead. Or, better yet, call into the All Hallows Hotline at 802-532-DEAD. Or write me an EEEEKmail at it'salwayshalloweenpodcast@gmail.com. I want to hear your Halloween memories, your trick-or-treating memories, your Halloween party triumphs or disasters, your book and movie recommendations, your haunted histories. I want to hear your plans for calendar Halloween. As I said at the top of the episode, if you love this podcast, please subscribe at patreon.com/it'salwayshalloween or make a one-time donation using our tip jar, all linked in the show notes. We had 2 people donate over the last week. Thank you so much. Those 2 donations combined basically sponsored this episode, covered this episode. So thank you so much. Makes such a big difference. You can also support the podcast by buying It's Always Halloween merch on Redbubble. That link is also in our show notes along with our Instagram at It's Always Halloween Podcast. This episode of It's Always Halloween was performed by me, Luce Tomlin-Brenner, with help from your fellow lanterns, including Marco, Teresa, Ashley, Andrew, and Mindy. Plus, Maura. Thanks so much for your wonderful contributions. The editing, theme music, and sound design is by Pete Burns. Thanks, Pete. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at LTBcomedy and Pete at Mittenberries. If you're on Apple Podcasts, please subscribe and write us a little review so that other like-minded ghouls can find us. We got a very relatable one this week, and I want to share it with you. The title is Halloween and Nostalgia, and it's by Jacqueline K. I love this podcast, and I love Halloween. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, I was fortunate to experience the golden age of Halloween. Trick-or-treating with no rules, homemade costumes, spooky sound cassette tapes, Halloween TV specials, McDonald's Boo Pails, and Nugget Buddies, loads of themed stickers and trinkets. This podcast brings back so many memories and stokes my Halloween heart. Thank you, Luce, for your lovely words, your research, your endless kindness, and your inclusive spirit. I adore everyone's Halloween memories and spooky stories. Keep them coming. I can't wait for all things witchy. This podcast is a must-listen for anyone who loves the spooky season as much as this 80s child does. Happy haunting. Well, thank you so much, Jacqueline K. What a lovely review. It's very much my childhood memory as well. And I would love to hear, we've gotten some calls from Gen Z and younger, and I would really love to hear what Halloween memories people who have gone trick-or-treating in the last 10 years have, and what Halloween means to them in the post-2000 years. I would love it if you guys would write a review. It does not have to be that long or that specific. Obviously, I love the compliments, but you can even just be like, wow, what a podcast. You like Halloween, she likes Halloween. Listen to it. Short and sweet, still gets the job done. So don't let your creative writing fears stop you from leaving us a review. It's a free and easy way to help the podcast. We're also on the NPR One app, very legit. So you can subscribe to us there and make sure you tell Ira Glass you love us so that someday my dream of being on This American Life can come true. Thanks so much for listening to It's Always Halloween, and come back next time, unless you just can't stop listening to your newest, most favoritist MP3, Halloween by Maura Matlock.